After post Abbott, you're
Toured
cruising
like a
now.
motherfucker. We went on tour. We had no idea what we were doing. These guys went on tour all the time. And at this point, the vibes now, as we were calling ourselves, or Velvet Treads vibes or whatever, we it was myself, Aspen, Nero, and Aeroswift, which is Dylan. We were like a four piece. We did a lot of shows, like stupid shows, stupid shows. Perry, who was the old runner, and shouts to Perry, Paliski Vask, Good Friday Entertainment, manager of Onyx now, and like Snack the Ripper and like mad other artists, and he like does bookings and shit. He was at the time managing us, and we were just getting crazy shows. So I think in like 1 week we opened. I think in 1 week I opened for Papoose, and then a Wednesday we opened for Raekwon, and then like the Thursday we did the Concordia outdoor thing and opened for Talib Kweli, and like that would be like a week to me back then, while also working like my commis de plancher job at Jean Coutu Norval, right? So like shit was like, and oh man, at this point, like okay, to everyone who's ever felt this, English Sheen was bopping. We were what you would say very on the cusp. Like people were like looking towards us. We were an only like hip hop group that was like doing it with a live band. People would actually like shun us because we do shows and then like we'd show up with like drums and a guitar and they're like, yo, we don't have that stuff for that. And we're like, no, we'll be fine, no problem. And like we would continue doing that. And then there was like Canadian Music Week and like labels out there that were kind of looking at us. And like to me, like I felt like, oh, I'm like right there. Like I'm about to do this shit. Like it's '07. No, it's not '08 because I hadn't left Jean Coutu yet. So it's like '06, '07. Like shouts to '06 because I love anybody who knows hip hop in Montreal. 2006 was sweet. 2007 was great. '06, '07, '08, '09 were just great times. 2010, 11, shit started to get really weird, and I'll explain that very soon. But it was a happy time. Everybody was thriving. Like Rico was out here. A lot of people were out here. NL5 was out here. Northern Lights. Shouts to
Oh,
Justice.
shout out
They were
Justice, big time.
fucking shouts to Justice. Everybody was just out here doing their thing. It's not even like we were like really thinking about what we were doing. It was really just like real city relay. When I'm tired, you go. So like boom, 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 boom. Everybody dropping. Everybody just like coming out at the same time. It was amazing. It was magical. And like I just felt like, all right, it's '06. I'm gonna have a Grammy by 2010. I was very cocky, not cocky, but I was just like happy. Like I was just like, music could go somewhere. Like we could fucking do this shit. Every week I'm opening for somebody. This is when shows just started coming back to Montreal. Like we weren't getting hip hop, and then there was like, shouts to Dutch. I'm not gonna forget about you. Dutch was a big
Mm.
part of us. But like I'll get that's also later on a bit too. But and it was brief too, because like I think I went to Canadian Music Week in '08 and Dutch was there and he came with D Shade. And shouts to D Shade. He came with D Shade and another dude, and we would all just like party and go to like different hotel parties and like hang out and stuff. And like it was just like getting that vibe off each other. We opened for Chaos in Toronto. Chaos, I love you, but he was going through some shit that night and just decided to like hang out backstage and like sit cross-legged and not pay attention to nobody at like his own opening party. Fucking Sunday morning was like big tune back then. Like Sunday morning just dropped. Like so that's where the vibe was. And man, I mean, whew, it just got weird after that. Things kind of went up and then went down. And that's I mean, if you want to know, that's where I'm gonna get to next. But it just yeah. Something
So
kind of
so hold
punches in
on.
the gut.
Just before we get to any of that stuff, I mean, at this
Mm,
point, I have some idea. I have a good idea of
you
the
have a good
stuff.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I happen to be day jobbing with a person who worked at Koi in 2013 who was
Oh,
very connected
hey,
to shit. So back
Koi.
then, I was fed a
Shut the
lot of
Koi.
information on things that are very relevant to what you're about to say. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn, I had no idea. You know, you never know who you're going to talk to once upon a time that's going to connect to your life fucking 8 years later and shit. It's
Right,
fucking
right,
nifty.
right,
But before we do
right.
that, can we just take some time to congratulate you for banging out some pretty incredible accomplishments?
I guess.
Like,
Sure.
like
Right
all
on.
that you just said is like, yo, people. Sometimes you hear the Montreal on the map speech, and I'm like, Montreal done been doing things when you really dig through the crates like I'm doing and look for it, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
And how can anybody say whatever when we've had multiple people in the city open and do incredible things? Like, look at, what is it, Bad News Brown played for Nas or whatever?
Yes, yeah, he did. Yeah, he opened for Nas and he did that on stage with him. That was crazy.
So, I mean, we've done a lot. Okay,
We've
like,
done so much. We've done some crazy, like, to kind of get back to the height of this shit. And this will just, okay, this will kind of pinpoint to show you what was what. I remember, and this is, I think, after tour or before tour, because I went across Canada and then we came back and shit was weird. But I think this is before tour during the year. What, actually, sorry, can you pull up, when did Wu Tang come to Montreal? And it was the same night that Montreal rioted after we beat Boston.
Wu Tang, Montreal, Boston, right?
Give me that.
2008. No shit.
Bongo. There you go. Okay. So that night, I'm on that evening, I'm not even thinking
Yeah, I remember
about
that
Wu Tang.
vividly, actually.
We're freaking, I'm going to Fairview Mall on the bus. I think going to just get EB Games on some shit to just like try to
Yeah,
get some video
buddy.
games. Like whatever, taking the 204 to Fairview. And I get a call like from, was it Aspen and or even D Shade, like, yo, where are you? I was like, I'm in going to Fairview. What do you mean? He's just like, dog, you're opening for Wu Tang. I'm like, huh. All right. So I book it downtown. I don't exactly make the performance, but enough for me to get in backstage and get in for free. So I think they did a performance. We had this song called B-Boy Image, which is like, again, another sleeper hit that we had that had legit us. So at the time, us being like Aspen, Nero, D Shade on it, and then like Narcy. So shout out to the narcissist because I haven't spoken to him in a minute, but shout out to Narcy. He was on the song with us. And I think like around that time, we were all like really, really close. So shit you not to get there. Wu Tang is there. Wu Tang gets on stage, and it's like Raekwon, Jizza, You God, and I think Ghostface. There was no, sorry, Raekwon, Jizza, You God, Master Killer. Only those four show up. Okay, but like there's an old picture of me like from a while back, and I think it was at Metropolis this happened, but they did their show, whatever, and I wanted to see Wu Tang, so I'm not going to be in the crowd with people. I'm trying to be like, I'm claustrophobic, so I'm not doing that anyways. So I'm trying to be at the side of the crowd, and I shit you not, in the dead ass front of the fucking stage is High Classified and K fucking Trinata at that Wu Tang show. So like to see those two dead center front. High Class was like still like High Classified, little chubbier, had his high top, whatever. And Katra was Katra at the time, Kevin. Seeing them in the front of a Wu Tang show and to see them be who they are now, it literally makes us like, I don't give a fuck if I ever make it. I don't care because I know that's something that I was a part of. And I'm not saying it was necessarily Wu Tang. I'm not saying it was necessarily us, but we had something to do with those kids seeing that shit and being like, we can do that too, and then taking that fucking relay and going.
Okay.
And that's what that is. Like that's my biggest like. If there's anything I could do for this city for hip hop is that I know that like our generation, that's me, that's Rico, that's LES, that's all of us from back then. The 08s, 06, 07s, 08s, 09s, the 10s. We had a lot to do with the new kids coming up now. And
No, but even like
yeah.
all of my peeps, like for real, I'm in that like middle group, right? So
Yeah.
there's a whole ecosystem in place when I start rapping. Dude, I never paid for shows. People just asked me if I wanted to perform at things, and I would just show up, and there was already stuff in place. I was kind of spoiled, I think. That starting in 2012, you're spoiled compared to starting now.
Yeah, you're super spoiled. Yeah, 2012 is a
Dude, like we're talking like you would have 20-person shows, but you would also regularly have 80-person crowds, 100-person crowds. Through if you did shit, I did hip hop karaoke a lot, so 300-person crowds, and it's like fucking real shit that actually happened for a minute. So like I got to be on like the tail end of it, and then whatever, life dissipates into what it is. But yeah, there's a lot of things outside of music that like happen, like drink prices at bars. Like nobody wants to talk about that, but like it used to be mad cheap to just get it. But then the whatever dude who bought PJs and all that shit, man.
Oh my gosh! Wow, yeah, that dude. Oh yeah, him.
Like single-handedly, he fucked up
Yeah.
like all the good spots that used to have good drink deals. And you know what's really amazing is if there's not a good drink deal, your people who would normally want to go to that spot and support you now all of a sudden are not as interested. And it was really shit. Like, yo, you know what made people go to Belmont? $20 rum and Coke pitcher. That sentence sold tickets. But you got rid of the selling point, and people are like, bro, I don't want to go to a show where I can't drink.
Yep. But I remember that, man. Early Belmont. Yeah, that was like that. Wow. Yeah.
Anyway, so I just want to point out that there's a lot of factors that hit the changes that come past that point that are just completely unrelated to anything that's hip hop. Just the city fucking changed.